On the 546th day of the war in Ukraine, the fighting was concentrated in these areas. A few hours ago, sources on the internet reported that the private jet of the leader of the Wagner PMC group, Yevgeny Prigozhin, crashed in the Tver region near Moscow. The event and the causes that led to the downing of the plane are still covered in mystery, but according to sources connected to Wagner Group, Prigozhin's jet was shot down by air defense systems. These images clearly show that just before the plane caught fire, smoke trails similar to those left behind by missile systems were seen in the sky. Even from the images taken from the crash site, it seems that some parts of the plane have small holes, which according to many sources indicates that the plane was hit by a missile. Later, the Council of Commanders of the Wagner PMC confirmed the passing of Yevgeny Prigozhin. Today, the main Directorate of Intelligence of the Ukrainian Ministry of Defense, GUR, published some very important news about their recent operations. This morning, images of massive explosions near the town of Olenivka in the western Crimea were published on the internet. Right after, the Ukrainian Intelligence Directorate published this video footage showing a massive explosion of a missile system, confirmed by them to be a Russian S-400 air defense system. The explosion was geolocated just north of Olenivka on the western part of the Crimean Peninsula, as shown on the map. Immediately questions arose as to what could have caused the destruction of Russia's most powerful air defense system. The usual suspect HIMARS was excluded because the closest distance from the Ukrainian coast is over 120 kilometers, which is beyond the operational range of HIMARS. Storm Shadow missiles are also excluded because if we look carefully at the video, the initial explosion is too small for such a missile, and the Russian S-400 system is mostly destroyed by the secondary explosions. Russian source Rybar informed that the destruction of the S-400 came as a result of a well-prepared operation of the Ukrainian intelligence. According to them, a group of Ukrainian boats was noticed yesterday about 40 kilometers from Cape Tarkankut, likely conducting a reconnaissance mission in the area. While today, according to Rybar, at least 2 drones of the Ukrainian forces approached the Crimean Peninsula at a distance of about 30 kilometers, causing the Russian defense to activate and hit both drones, thus exposing its position. Immediately after the Russian S-400 system fired its missiles revealing its position, the group of the Ukrainian boats was put on alert and hit the Russian air defense from the sea. The Russian source reported that at least 3 missiles were fired by the Ukrainian group. According to Rybar, considering the small impact of the initial strike, it is more likely that the strikes were carried out from close using the British-made Brimstone 2 missiles, which have a range of 40 up to 60 kilometers. The option that anti-ship missiles with a longer range like Harpoon or Neptune were used is not excluded. This is not the only damage that the Russian army suffered from this mission of the Ukrainian forces in the Black Sea. The Ukrainian forces published footage from their operations, and as reported, the Russian Air Force tried to hit the Ukrainian boats, but as seen from the footage, Ukrainians returned fire and managed to hit a Russian fighter jet using manpads. The Russian fighter jet took significant damage and was forced to leave the area. The Ukrainian GUR published other facts about an even more unusual and interesting event. Today, the spokesman of the Ukrainian Intelligence Directorate, Andriy Yusov, confirmed the news that was circulating about the defection of a Russian Mi-8 helicopter pilot. The Ukrainian intelligence service had been working on this operation for about 6 months. They had convinced the Russian pilot to defect and had guaranteed the safety of his family. The pilot's family was previously transferred to Ukraine, and then the pilot, together with 2 crew members, were commanded on a mission to transport spare parts for the Russian fighter jets. But the pilot in his helicopter landed in Poltava, where the pilot was reunited with his family, while the other crew members were eliminated by the Ukrainian forces. On the Zaporizhzhia front, Ukrainian forces liberated Robotyne after days of clashes inside the village. The commander-in-chief of the Ukrainian army, Valery Zaluzhny, posted this video where it appears that the Ukrainian flag is raised over the main building in the center of the village, confirming the liberation of Robotyne. As I said in the previous video, the Russian forces have likely withdrawn towards the forests and trenches south of Robotyne. There was no Russian counterattack that recaptured half of the settlement, as stated by some other sources yesterday. Friends, if you like my daily updates, I kindly ask you to hit the like and subscribe buttons, as this will greatly help the channel to reach a wider audience. That's all for today's update. Thank you to my Patreon supporters, and have a great day.